Graziano, and welcome to the History Report. On this special news broadcast, we will read many important stories from the past.
The Dust Bowl is the main story for tonight.
Tonight comes from June 6, 1935, and it's pertaining to the Dust Bowl. Over the last 5 years, we have been covering a phenomenon known as the Dust Bowl, taking place in the southern plains of America. Well, now America is beginning to learn both the causes of this great catastrophe and also the effects it is having on the people there. In the 20s, there were great advances in farming technology, and farmers in the plains were able to farm a great amount of acres. Although, as the Great Depression started to hit America and farmers began overproducing, the price of crops fell. Many planted massive amounts of wheat to try to make back some of their money. In order to do this, they had to remove the drought-resistant grass. Although some of these fields were left bare and they did not plant on them. By removing the grass, the fertile topsoil partially blew away and left the lands vulnerable to drought. Then soon after, the rain stopped and dust storms began to appear. This huge problem caused a great migration to take place. Over 1/3 of the population moved away from the plains, and they migrated to places like California, earning their nickname Okies. Many experienced foreclosure because they were not able to produce any crops, and they still had loans on their equipment and farms. President Roosevelt's New Deal helped many farmers keep their land, and the Civil Conservation Corps tried to prevent another Dust Bowl from occurring. The story tonight comes from October 9, 1927, and it pertains to the first talkie movie in theaters. The movie The Jazz Singer, that came out just a few days ago, is making history by being the first movie in which there is a synchronized talking dialogue. Warner Brothers Studios is using their new Vitaphone to create this film industry-changing talkie. Al Jolson plays the role of Jackie Robowitz, a man who defies his father to follow what he loves. Jackie's father wanted him to follow the family tradition of men singing for the synagogue. This movie tells the tale of a boy who is more interested in jazz music. See what happens next and be a part of history by going to see The Jazz Singer.
Jesse Owens stole the spotlight at the 1936 Olympics.
Is covering sports, and it comes from August 18th, 1936, and it pertains to the Olympics. The end of the 1936 Olympics has now come, and it is now time to sum it all up. Dictator Adolf Hitler has tried to make the Olympics taking place in Berlin a showstopper. It seems that Hitler has spent massive amounts of money to make this year's Olympics one that will stand out. He feels that this is his chance to show the world what the master race can really do. Controversy struck as American Jesse Owens stole the show. Jesse Owens received 4 gold medals and also broke 11 world records. Hitler did not even want to put the medals around Owens' neck because he felt that the gold medalist was inferior.
Prohibition struck the country hard in 1919.
Today's editorial comes from January 16, 1919, and it pertains to Prohibition. Today is another very important day in American history, due to the fact that the 18th Amendment was passed. For those Americans who are unaware of the meaning behind this amendment, should listen because it would have effect on many of their lives. Basically, this amendment added to the Constitution bans the sale, manufacture, and transportation of alcohol. Many Americans may not be so shocked by this amendment because of the temperance movements that has been taking place. And those who believe in this movement claim that alcohol causes many problems in today's society. They claim that the 18th Amendment will help bring down crime rates across the nation. They also believe that alcohol causes unemployment and physical violence. Although it seems as this group has a great idea, the ban of alcohol probably will not last very long. People will always find a way to get alcohol, and this amendment may even lead people to buy it illegally, therefore increasing crime rates. The entire idea seems to be preposterous and most likely will not work.
This graph shows the decrease in unemployment until the recession hit.
The next story tonight comes from January 3rd, 1938, and it pertains to the recession of 1937. Though the nation has experienced a short period of recovery, economists are now saying that the nation is in another recession. Hard times are hitting America once again, and people hope that there will be a quicker recovery. Many claim that this double dip now taking place is a result of Roosevelt's actions, hence the nickname Roosevelt's Recession. Economists say that the recession was caused by Roosevelt's attempts to balance the budget, which meant that the government spending was cut drastically. When Roosevelt took presidency, his idea of helping the economy using government spending worked well, and many saw the positive effects of his actions. It is important to note that this recession is not nearly as bad as the Great Depression. At this time, unemployment is at 19%, which is a big difference between 25 to 25% unemployment America experienced throughout the Great Depression. Hopefully, relief will come soon as the United States can finally return to normal.
Have you ever wondered if there is a drink anywhere in the world that is refreshing, energizing, and most of all great tasting? Well, if you ever asked yourself this question before, then you obviously never tried a soft drink like Coca-Cola. The great qualities of Coca-Cola make it the best-selling soft drink in the world. The flavoring of this popular drink is like no other. Trust me, when I tell you that there will never want another drink after you have your first Coca-Cola. It adds a great addition to any meal, and one can even drink it while relaxing. So what are you waiting for? Go out and get yourself a Coca-Cola and experience the greatness of one. Coca-Cola.
The ad shown here shows how many Americans turned against each other during the Second Red Scare.
The story tonight comes from February 10th, 1915, and pertains to the Second Red Scare. America is once again in the midst of another communist scare, and everyone is feeling the effects. As they always were and always will be, the communists are a force to be feared. And ever since the end of the Second World War, they have been trying to spread all over the world. Truman has adopted a policy by the name of containment, in which he says he will help stop the spread of communism. The Marshall Plan, providing economic aid to European countries, also is another measure helping to stop the spread of communism. Americans fear that communism will eventually reach the United States because of the domino theory. The Soviet Union has developed an atomic weapon showing they can match our brilliance. One of the biggest powers in the world, China, has now fallen to communism. And now, just yesterday, Senator Joseph McCarthy now claims that he has a list of 205 government workers who are communists. Though no one knows whether or not these accusations are true, the people are definitely in fear. America is now fretting communist takeover, and it only seems to become closer. We have a very important interview with President Truman, and this took place on April 10th, 1951. I will read to you the questions that were asked, and then we will have a recording from President Truman answer when he was on the phone. President, for being with us tonight.
Thank you for allowing me to be on your show.
Mr. President, you made a very hard decision. Can you explain to the American people why you fired one of America's most high-ranking generals?
Without going into great depths, the simple answer to your question is that MacArthur went against my policy and he put the world at risk for another huge war.
What exactly were the plans of General MacArthur?
General MacArthur wanted to drop an atomic bomb on China, a decision which I believe would be a serious mistake for the United States.
What dangers does a country such as China pose for the United States?
The main reason why China poses such a problem for the United States is because of the sheer manpower and Soviet backing. This country has seen the effects of their power through the Korean War. Though they are not as technologically advanced as the United States, they are able to harm our forces using their millions of people. I know that the Soviet Union has not been involved in the war physically, although they are backing the Chinese immensely.
Do you have any hard feelings towards General MacArthur?
No, do not be mistaken. This decision does not change my views towards the general. I honor the general for his duty and respect him as a person. This is definitely one of my most difficult decisions I have made as president. Although I look past this decision because I know the severity of the situation is too great to only worry about one man.
Yes, America, and join us again next week for another episode of The History Report.